All right, Matthew Holmes is standing by in Mississauga, just west of Toronto. He's the Executive Vice President, Chief of Public Policy at the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Matthew, for taking the time for us today.
Great to see you, Todd.
All right, so can you help us make heads or tails of this? Deal, no deal, what's going on? We know that Mark Carney's Trade Minister, Dominic LeBlanc, staying back in Washington. Yeah. Give us your take.
Well, I think signals are important with this administration in the U.S., and the signals that were sent from the White House yesterday were overly positive, in my view. Also, the signal of the caliber and the seniority of the people, the number of cabinet ministers, the clerk of the Privy Council, senior people from Ottawa attending that meeting. And so I think we're seeing progress here. We're seeing Trump, the president, speaking with specificity. He's clearly been briefed on the Canada file. All of this points towards progress in the talks. No, we don't have a deal. I think there's a sense of anticipation building that some new information will be coming out in short order. But I don't think we'll have a final deal. The final deal is CUSMA, reviewed in 2026, and that's what lets most of our products go into the U.S. tariff-free. That's the big prize we need to stay focused on, while the Canadian side works away at some of those 232 tariffs that you've mentioned, like steel, aluminum, auto parts, and so forth.
Yeah, and we know that the president can often be transactional and personal in the way that he conducts politics. He seemed to really like Mark Carney. What does that mean?
Well, relationships matter with this president, and so I think I'd rather see that sort of positive conversation, even if it takes us a bit of time, than a negative oppositional one like some of the others we've seen that have been highly confrontational in that office. What I'm hearing coming out of the meetings is energy, security, industrial base, strategic commodities. These are all places that Canada has a really strong position in and can play a strong hand in. And so I think that says to me they're recognizing that we are a strategic partner, that we're a key part of their supply chain across many, many strategic interests around different industrial applications, around their defense interests, the continental security, of course, but also energy security. So all of those things really play well in Canada's favor. On the flip side, though, right now, the economy is really starting to feel this. We saw exports go down by 3% in Canada last month. That's the first time in 3 months we've seen exports decline. And some of those are very troubling. If you look at industrial machinery and parts, it's down 9.5%, and lumber and forestry products down 25%. Those are going to hit communities. Those are going to hit jobs, and that we cannot sustain for much longer.
Hey, one last one for you, Matthew. Although a lot of Americans may not realize this, including within the Trump administration, we know that Canada is the single largest foreign investor in the United States, and the Prime Minister was talking about it, new investments in the years ahead. How does that play out?
I think that's a really important signal, too, to tease out here. And what we've seen with some of the other deals that the U.S. has announced with other countries, it's not just the tariff rate or the access to the market. There's often usually a commitment of a certain amount of funding from the other country, foreign direct investment coming into the U.S. So the fact that Prime Minister Carney was using numbers, was using some specifics there, saying, you know, over the next 5 years, that could be $1 trillion of investment coming in from Canada. I think that's really material. It signals that we're getting closer and that there are some big numbers being thrown around here.
Matthew Holmes with the Canadian Chamber of Commerce and his take. Thank you for this.
Thanks, Tom. Take care.